Welcome to Warrior's Edge Yoga. My name is Andrew, and you're going to see a lot of me on this channel, though maybe one day you'll also see some other teachers that you can learn from as well. Right now, I am inside of the San Diego Yoga Center, which is one of the places where I teach Yin, who has been gracious enough to allow me to make some videos here. And you'll also see my apartment or outside or wherever else I end up being. Depending on when you have found this video, you may have already seen some of the other videos on this channel. Anything that was published prior to this video came from earlier on in my teaching journey, but my yoga journey goes back a lot further than that. I found the mat during COVID, did morning and noon and evening practices just to help myself stay sane and connect a lot more with my body. At first, I really didn't get too much out of it because it was just slow, or I didn't really feel like I was building much strength. Then I found that there's a lot of different types of yoga to explore from, so I came toward really strong vinyasa and power. And after I lost my father, I had just moved here to San Diego, and I at that time had no friends and no job, and I had just moved into my apartment like 2 weeks prior to losing him. So I was very, very lonely when I came back, and really threw myself into the practice of yoga to connect more with my emotions, and that especially is what led me to Yin and the practice of Yin and releasing stored up emotions, and the way that Yin especially helped me move through the grief of losing my father is what led me to the teacher's mat and wanting to share this practice with other people in the hopes that maybe it will help them out in some way, shape, or form, which is also why the first series that I was trying to play around with was the Yoga for Grief one that's here already on the channel. But after I made those videos, I wanted to teach and be in person because I learned everything online during COVID, from how to do a downward dog to how to teach a downward dog. And I wanted to actually spend some time with people and seeing how people's bodies reacted to this practice, whether it was in Yin, strength, or a power, or anything else. So I could also learn about modifications and injuries and meeting people where they are. I have a very huge love of yoga online because it's how I learned everything. I also have now a different love for doing it all in person to really see how it can change and mold people's lives. Now that I've done that for a couple of years, I wanted to come back to my first love, which was doing yoga online. Now that I feel for myself that I've learned a lot as an instructor and have grown a lot in sharing this practice, I wanted to come back online and begin to share some practices again. Here we are now with Warrior's Edge Yoga. So again, welcome. There's also a corresponding website to this YouTube channel that honors the writer in me. It's modeled after Virabhadra, who is the warrior in the yoga mythology behind poses Warrior 1, 2, and 3. It's all about being more mindful and present in your body and learning stability as you embrace heat and accept challenge. I wanted to model the website especially after the warrior's path, utilizing Warrior 1 as a beginner just coming to the mat or wanting to learn a little bit more about things that they're not as versed in, and then moving to Warrior 2 when you're feeling a little bit more intermediate and want to up level and get a bit stronger, off then to the Warrior 3 that's a lot more about the stability and the balance and the strength, with of course the peaceful warrior who is included for the restoration and the Yin that so many people love to skip out on, and I'm going to push really hard on this channel. I really think that there's so much power in that particular practice. Over on the website, you can find the Warrior's Path broken down into pose guides, as well as a section called the Training Grounds, which is deepening your practice, learning more about breathwork and meditation, lifestyle in general, as well as a breakdown of series that I'll have, including the Yoga for Grief, and then anything else that kind of comes from the future. The website will deal with all of that, and then the YouTube channel here and eventual membership platform will have videos that will help you as a practitioner grow in your own practice. Maybe you need to come back to a Warrior One class and return to your roots and maybe even learn something new about a pose that you've done at this point 1,000 times plus, like a downward dog or a Warrior Two or even a chaturanga. I'm also working on what I'm currently calling a warrior flow, but comment below if you have any other ideas for what I might be able to utilize for that. It takes the idea of kickboxing, martial arts, those types of things, and integrates it into the practice. I currently have an example on the website for the anger class under the Yoga for Grief series, so if you kind of want to see a sneak peek of what that might be like, I'll have those eventually split into 2 different sections. Endurance, which focuses more on the cardio kickboxing element of everything, and then the stamina, which takes what we learn from the cardio and adds a little bit of weights to it and moves a little bit more slowly and more controlled, so you can really focus more on form than explosive behavior. So be sure to keep an eye out for those and other videos, as well as tips and tricks and the most important pose breakdowns as I develop here on this channel. In the meantime, as always, I'd love it if you considered pressing that little subscribe button down there on the bottom, maybe even follow up with the bell notification so that you know every time I post a video. Also, feel free to subscribe to the newsletter over on the Warriors Edge Yoga website so you can also be updated for new posts and new videos and all of the things in between. Thank you all so much for your time. I look forward to sharing more in this practice. I look forward to watching you all grow and connect more with your inner warriors, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat.